Welcome to Tough Talk. I'm your host, Paul Taros, and today my guest is Nicholas Somberg, attorney and owner of Somberg Law, PLLC. Welcome, Nick.
Welcome. Thanks for having me back on.
Well, thank you for coming back on. You've been involved in some interesting cases over the last couple years. First of all, why don't you tell us about the man who was ticketed for warming up his car in the winter?
Right. So this was kind of my first case that got a lot of attention, and basically I saw this guy post online that he had gotten a ticket for starting his car in his own driveway in January in Michigan to, provide a warm car for his 2-year-old son to walk into. Okay, so this wasn't on the road. This wasn't in the middle of a parking lot. He was in his own driveway, and basically this police officer driving by saw this car and decided to walk up and write him a ticket for $128 for warming his car up. Something I think that as a Michigander we have all done.
We have.
Every single one of us. So we took the case, and this was a case I did pro bono for this gentleman, of course, and it started to get a lot of attention because I think it's something that this is bipartisan, right? Who has not warmed their car up in Michigan? Raise your hand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, what does the statute say about warming a car?
So what they decided to charge him on, and we actually got the law changed because of this case, I should say. Governor Snyder has changed the law. Now, what it originally said is that you cannot warm your car up on any road or public place or public road or highway. It says or any other place. Okay, was the original law, and we properly interpreted that. So the any other place was what the prosecution was hung up on. Well, they said, well, that just must mean anywhere. We said, well, no. Then why wouldn't you just say anywhere? Okay, the law cannot be read so that it creates a redundancy. If you say public roads and highways or any other place, well, why not just say any other place? Because it would cover public roads and highways. And what our argument was that the any other place portion of the statute was a modifier on public roads and highways. So this means roundabouts, cul-de-sacs, roads, avenues, drives, any variation of word was covered by that. The district court judge, he denied us, said we were wrong. Okay. We appealed it to the circuit court. In the meantime, Governor Snyder signed that now you can warm your car up in your driveway. Now, it was great. People kept messaging me like, oh, thank you, Nick, and good job. You fought a good fight. But what I said was, well, thanks, but no thanks, because we're right. This was unnecessary. You could always warm your car up in your driveway, mm-hmm. and which is by practice and by the law. And when we filed the appeal was on the original law. So that was the new law had already passed. We said, well, no, on the original law, we're still right, that you could always warm your car up. And sure enough, we went to Macomb County Circuit Court, and they granted us that we were correct. And dismissed the case.
Well, that's got to be a great feeling.
It was cool. It was definitely cool. I didn't expect it. When we were in the hearing itself, the judge was really tough on me. He was like, well, why this and why that? And it made it seem like I didn't know what I was talking about. And I was like, well, I know we're right. And he said, okay, I'll take it under advisement. And a couple of weeks later, maybe it was a month, and he said, yeah, we agree, reversed.
Well, that's good. And now we have the clear
Now
law.
You can warm your car up in the winter in Michigan. Thank you, government, for the permission.
Yeah.
What would we do if they couldn't let us know that you could warm your car up?
Exactly. Okay. Now, you were also involved in a legal case where during your research you discovered that the Dearborn police were trolling Facebook under the name of Olivia?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't use the word trolling, but people need to know that anything you post online, the police are out there. They look at everything you do, everything you write, and the Dearborn police in particular were monitoring people, Second Amendment supporters, people that might not like the government so much, and the name they used was Olivia, okay? And we kind of found out, I posted about it online, some news picked it up, and then one of the detectives came up to me and he kind of got mad. He's like, "Oh, thanks for your public service announcement." And we were in the middle of the court. "Thanks for your public service announcement." I go, "Oh," I'm like, "So you're Olivia, right?" And he's like, "Oh," and he kind of walked away or whatever. But yeah, they had pages and pages and pages, and they used, like that, printed out, pages of every post and everything. They go, "Oh, look at this person. Look, they're an extremist, or this person's an extremist." So you gotta watch every post. I mean, they monitor me, which I'm fine with. I've been in court. I'll post my wins. I'll post, if something that I think is wrong at court, I'll post about it. I'll let people weigh in. I post about a prosecutor in particular I just said dirty prosecutors on Facebook. Well, the next time I seen that person, they said, "Hey, was that about me?" And this person's not my friend on Facebook, so I know that somebody's telling them. They go, "Well, is that about me?" I'm like, well, yeah. Actually, yes. I thought the way they handled a previous case was very dirty, So you got to be careful what you post online.
So Dearborn Police probably are using a different name than Olivia now.
I'm sure they got many names. Different girls, guys, they have fake profiles. When you accept the friend request, I always look, do you have mutual friends with that person? Mm-hmm. If it's some, very attractive woman from, the Middle East or something, it's either the police or ISIS. It's either the local police or it's ISIS.
Or some hacker. Trying to get into your account and use your information for malicious reasons, or they just want to monitor you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's very scary stuff.
Well, there's things you can do. You can set your account to private. Don't post anything that you don't want everyone to know about. Even if you have it just to friends. You don't know. Unless you have a very small Facebook tight-knit group. One of those friends can be, maybe you overlooked, maybe 3 or 4 of your friends friended this person. So when they friended you, you say, "Oh, John and Paul friended them, so it must be okay."
Yeah.
And you got a federal agent monitoring you, just like that.
Yeah. No, it's scary times that we live in. You also recently represented a Sterling Heights man who had his dog taken by animal control.
Yes.
What happened there?
So this was actually a tenant of my father. And I was managing the house, and he told me that the Sterling Heights police came into his backyard and essentially took his dog out of his sunroom, which was attached to the house. It wasn't some dog house in the middle there, and they took his dog and they held his dog for 89 days. Now, I got involved within the first month, and they kept pushing it out, and they racked up this $2,000 kennel bill, which they tried to stick my client with. But they came into his backyard with no warrant, took his dog. Even in the police report, it said no signs of abuse. Dog was happy, healthy, jumping, licking him, and this is a case where they went too far. When people hear animal abuse, it's when somebody's hurting an animal or neglecting them, not giving them food, water. This was a family dog named Princess, right? So how many abused dogs are named Princess? Maybe Killer or something like that. But this was their family dog, and the Sterling Heights, they seem to not understand why what they were doing was so egregious and so inappropriate. And we kept having to go back to court. And it was funny, on Facebook, the mayor of Sterling Heights actually, he fed the trolls. Somebody tagged him, and he put all these posts about how we were wrong. And, he shot himself in the foot. Really, he's making all these. This is the mayor of. You click on his profile, Sterling Heights mayor. I'm like, really? Posted on my Facebook page? And arguing with all my friends, they're like, "Oh, well, we didn't have the vaccinations." I go, "Here's the vaccinations. You've had them since January. And it's March." I go, "Oh, they had no excuse." But it was unfortunate. But this is another case of the government not being too arrogant to admit when they were wrong, and not just dropping a case. The amount of money they spent, the time responding to my motions, the time in court, paying people, it's give this man his dog back, leave this family alone, and move on. I think there's more important things going on.
What caused the police to go out there in the first place?
So this was a neighbor over there. Basically called the police. We don't think he likes dogs. I used to live in the house as well, but basically called the police, and Sterling Heights went there and took the dog. And we filed a motion to dismiss based on no search warrant, and that was denied. We could have appealed and won. It's hard in the district court because these district court judges can just say, well, denied. And then what is that for your client? You got to go through the appeal process. You got to spend money and time. So it wasn't worth it on that regard. We ended up getting all the criminal charges dismissed and ended up just being a fine. They reluctantly agreed to split that $2,000 kennel bill with us. So.
It's still a lot of money.
Well, even the judge is like, "Why are you holding it?" He's like, 3 months. Why? He's like, "Why are you holding this dog for 3 months? 89 days." Hell, some people. If they took my cat, I'd be up in arms. People's dogs, their family member.
Now, did the police then come back and charge his wife?
So, what I learned was that the wife was actually already charged, but we had like a 3-4 hour negotiation with the judge and the prosecutor, the animal control, and none of them said a thing. So we worked out this whole deal. It's so stupid dealing with these people. But we worked out this whole deal, and then, a week later, the wife tells me, "Oh, I'm charged too." I was like, "Why didn't you say anything?" But they knew, right? So we're all sitting in a room. Shouldn't have one of these people been like, "Hey, by the way, that we charged the wife too." So me, giving them the benefit of the doubt, be like, "Oh, you know what? They're good people over there at Sterling Heights. We've already worked this out with your husband and paid you a ton of money. They're going to drop it or whatever." No, we go there, and they want to stick the wife with the same thing. I'm like, well, why? Well, she lives in the house. I'm like, okay, they have a 2-year-old son too. You're going to charge the 2-year-old because he lives in the house? You're going to charge the baby? She's pregnant. You're going to charge the baby when the baby comes out because he was in the womb in the house? So they called that. They go, "Oh no, that's too far. Too far to charge a 2-year-old." It's like, I think it's too far to charge in the first place. But once you have it resolved, do the right thing and drop it against the wife. So we ended up getting it resolved. But this was like a 3 court dates. Just such a waste. Incredible waste and just incredible arrogance.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you recently represented a man who was ticketed for playing his car radio too loud?
This is my current case at hand. Another one that I found on Facebook. This was somebody he posted his ticket, and his ticket said misdemeanor for playing the song "F the Police." Okay, and it was spelled out, but I know we're not going to use those words here. And I saw it, and I thought it was just something from the internet, something just crazy, or maybe even a joke. And I look at the bottom, it says, 50th District, Pontiac Court. Like, are you serious? And, this, had they charged him with a civil infraction, because listen, so what he did was, there was a man pulled over at a gas station. It was a black guy. And the police officer was behind the guy pulled over. Well, my client drives up, and he's already playing the song. Okay, and he parks on the other side of the gas pump. Here's your gas pump. He's on the other side, and he sees the police officer, and he turns it up as a form of protest. Say, hey, I want this police officer to know how I feel about them. So he turns up the radio, and however you feel about it. Because listen, I have friends that are police officers. Most of them think this is hilarious. They they would have laughed, which I think any mature person or police officer, they should have just brushed it off their shoulder. Maybe gave the thumbs up, maybe started dancing, and left this guy alone. But he wrote him a 90-day misdemeanor, a crime. They will put you in jail for 3 months for playing the wrong music. Now, had they just wrote him a civil infraction or ticket, I probably wouldn't even have touched the case. Like, hey, you know what? That was a little disrespectful. You were kind of playing with fire, and if you got a fine, okay. But to say that this man is a criminal, to say that he should be in jail for up to 90 days for his choice in music, for redressing his grievances against the government, which is what the First Amendment is there for. It's so, one day a man could turn up his radio and say, hey, F the government, F the police, because that's how he feels. And for the Oakland County to charge this man with a criminal misdemeanor and not drop it, by the way. So we've gone to court once already on this, and he's been arraigned, he's on personal bond. But I walk into the prosecutor's office and they say, bench trial or jury trial. So no deal. They just want to waste money. Let's see how much money we're going to waste on this one. Okay, bench trial or jury trial. So you got to pay a prosecutor, you got to bring in a jury, you got to pay all these people. I factor even keeping the lights on, even the judge, all these people. What is the total cost to go after this kid for playing a song they didn't like? Now, what he's actually charged with is called noise amplification. And we're currently set for a jury trial, and we are currently set for a motion hearing. And the motion I'm going to file is that their statute is unconstitutional as written. So they're going to lose their entire statute over this thing, because for a statute to be constitutional, there's a couple things, but it cannot be overbroad. Okay? So when you read a law, it has to tell you what you can and can't do. So, wear your seatbelt. Okay. Don't use marijuana. Okay. This is very clear stuff. Now, the case comes out of Grand Rapids, where it was a very similar statute that said, I forgot what it said. It was basically something like, don't be annoying. Okay, well, what does that mean? All right, it was an overbroad statute, and ours is nearly the same thing. It's a noise ordinance complaint. So what Mr. Webb is charged under, it says you cannot make a noise that is unnecessary or annoying, which disturbs other people. So what is annoying? Okay, you might like something that I find is very annoying, and I might enjoy something that you find is very annoying. And the law, in order for it to be constitutional, it can't be open to interpretation like that. It has to tell you what you can and can't do, and it also cannot give police officers unlimited discretion to write tickets, which is what happened here, right? Police officer heard the song, didn't care about the volume, but it was the content. Okay, the content triggered him. He got upset, and he walked over and said, "Hey, I'm going to make you a criminal. I'm going to write you for a crime." So this idea that if you make a noise which is unnecessary, what does that mean? If you make a noise that is, so if something's unnecessary, so if I walk up to you, Paul, and I say, "Good morning, Paul," is that necessary for me to say good morning to you? Is that necessary? No. To me, necessary means for survival purposes, right? Food, water, shelter. Other than that, so you're not allowed to make a noise in the city of Pontiac. You can't make a noise in Oakland County that is not necessary to your survival. That's what their statute says. So, again, this is another example where instead of admit they were wrong, let the kid go, now they want a jury trial. We got the news, Channel 4, Channel 7, in all these hearings. Okay, I'm going to drop on them a big motion. They hire a private law firm. They outsource. They hire a private law firm to pay them to fight me. I mean, this is Pontiac. They don't got schools. They have schools. They got a couple schools, but they don't got a police force. They got potholes
They don't
everywhere.
have much money.
They don't got nothing going on. They got houses burned down, and you're coming after my client? It's like, grow up. You got to, and this is what government does. They don't care. It's not their money. Okay, they're spending other people's money to do what? To make some sort of point. At the end of the day, they're going to lose, and it's unfortunate there's going to be no accountability. If a client trusts me with his or her money and I just waste it, I can get in trouble for that. The government, Oakland County, they have unsolved rapes, they have unsolved murders. They got all this serious stuff going on, and they're going to go after a kid for playing rap music. I mean, this song is from 1988. This is 30 years ago. And they're still arresting people, calling them a criminal for his choice of music. So we're going to file a motion, hopefully dismiss on the motion. I'll tell you, when he was arraigned, the judge he reads the report, he kind of looks up like, "Are you serious?" And he knows I'm there pro bono as well. He knows I'm there for free, so we're there to make a point. And I think ultimately we'll be successful. If the motion fails, first of all, I'm going after their entire ordinance. So they're probably going to lose their whole ordinance over this. And if not, hopefully we win there. And if we don't, we're going all the way to a jury trial. Is a jury going to convict a man in Pontiac playing his rap music? I walked out of the courthouse after court, and there's a guy driving on the street bumping. bumping his music. And it's like, well, where are the police? Why doesn't somebody go arrest this guy and write him a misdemeanor? Mm-hmm. I'd like to just elaborate a little more that the government cannot discriminate based on content. Okay, so if you write some poetry that the government doesn't like, well, too bad. Maybe you like it, maybe I like it. This officer is on video. We have the video. The officer, when he has the first man pulled over, he points over to my client's car. He goes, "Is he playing that music for me?" So he didn't say, "Oh, wow, it's really loud," or, "Oh, that music is disturbing other people." He was mad at the content, which is protected by our Constitution, and ultimately, I think, is going to result in the dismissal of this one.
Now, you said it was caught on video. Was this on a cell phone? Or?
No, we have through the Freedom of Information Act, we requested the dash cam video from the police officer, and we also have his body mic. Mm. So you can hear everything he says. And you can hear the music's not even that loud. I mean, my client was driving I think a 04 Toyota stock. So this is not a car that's meant to be rocking out music. It doesn't have any subwoofers in the back or anything. At our last court date, I had him go, play your music. Let me see how loud this thing is. It's nothing. You walk 5 feet away, you can't even hear it. So, thank God we have the video. And I mean, really, I think the first officer, he's pulling this guy over for another victimless crime, no nonsense. I think it's like a seatbelt or something. And then he's going over and writing the music misdemeanor. So this guy's a busybody. He's got nothing going on. He needs to find some real crime and maybe try to stop real criminals.
Okay. Now, I'm just curious, on like that case, you're kind of critical of the police. Aren't you a little afraid of any repercussions from the police?
No.
No?
No. No, and I'm critical of anybody just doing the wrong thing. I try to do the right thing. I will stand up for the police and get their back when they're in the right. When people just like indiscriminately say, "Oh, F the police," or "They're always wrong," or "They kill black people," or I am the first person to say, "No, they don't." I work with these people every day. And trust me, they are on my side. I've walked in the court and the court guards are like, "Hey, I seen you on the news." They're like, that case, they're like shaking their head, laughing with me. Yeah. I had one come up and shake my hand and be like, get him off of that. Do the right, get him off. He's like, "That's so stupid. It's so stupid." I mean, we had riots in Detroit over this song, decades ago. Get over it. It's done.
Okay. Recently, a congressional candidate, a libertarian candidate, Brian Ellison, was arrested in Royal Oak. Do you want to tell us what caused that?
I could talk a little about that. The case is still open right now. But Brian was protesting the Royal Oak police. They had just recently shot 2 unarmed men. I believe one was a teenager and one was in his 20s, or they might have both been in their 20s. But he went there to protest, and this is another free speech issue case that I've decided to take on. I know Brian. I've seen him at libertarian functions, and basically he was there at a police event called I think it was like Run with the Police or Run with the Chief, something like that. And he's there with his bullhorn. He's on public property. He's not doing anything wrong. But he's talking, he's saying, "Hey, why are you killing people? Why are you, don't stop shooting people, stop shooting people." There's all these people around and everything. I think the police got a little embarrassed, is what happens. And the police chief was there, and he kind of went up to the police chief like, "Hey, why are you killing people?" Or just calling them out right there. And from that embarrassment, it looks to me, we have a lot of different video angles, but it looks to me the police kind of sent some men to get rid of Brian. And they did. And they arrested him for interfering with government activities or something. I don't know how you're on private or on public property using a bullhorn. I mean, this is America. You are allowed to do this, by all measures. So they arrested him, and they charged him with resisting arrest as well. And now we're going to court for that in Royal Oak. I have a motion date scheduled for that as well. But we're going to be moving to dismiss that he wasn't doing anything wrong. He's exercising his constitutional rights. Whether you agree or disagree with what his message was, he has the right to speak his message. And as far as the resisting goes, well, the Michigan Supreme Court's already ruled that you can resist an unlawful arrest. And it is our contention that this arrest was not lawful. They basically arrested him because they were embarrassed and they didn't like him and they didn't like what he was doing at the time. So they arrested him, and the allegations are that he resisted. Well, I say even if he did, that it was okay because the arrest was unlawful in the first place.
Now, did he need any permit or anything to be doing that type of protest?
So no, he did not need a permit. What their angle is that you needed a permission slip to run in the race, to race the chief.
Oh.
Well, he wasn't in the race. He's not racing anybody, so he was just there, and he certainly didn't need any permits, and really it's just emboldened everything because it's given him more attention, more publicity to speak his message.
Okay. Well, it probably also helps his race for Congress.
Definitely, I'd like to see more libertarian-minded people winning all sorts of positions. Maybe we can stop the government from, taking people's dogs, or not letting you warm your car up, or giving you a crime for playing the wrong type of music. I mean, I sit back and think about the astronomical waste, the waste of what goes on. Marijuana being illegal. There's so much cost. There's so much cost from the ripple effect of the people affected in the jobs. It's like this is the broken window fallacy. We'll say, hey, if you keep marijuana illegal, well, it gives police jobs, and it gives prosecutors jobs, and it even gives me jobs. I got to represent people, right, and defend them. But that's a fallacy because it's for people that don't know. They say, well, a broken window is okay because it provides a job. It means somebody has to fix that window. So therefore, this is good for the economy. It's not good for the economy. When a window is broken, that is wasted productivity where that person's money, the efforts of the window repairman, could have been used elsewhere. So we have all these resources and all this time and all these people going into obsessing over a plant. Okay, and I feel like I'm getting off topic here, but you look at, I watch these congressional hearings. It's like, what are these people doing? This is so wasteful. Let's talk about, national security or something. You're sitting here with all these grown men and women, people that are millionaires and billionaires, and you're sitting here arguing over a plant. I say don't even have standing to talk about these things. It's just insane to me.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for, I think you're doing wonderful work defending all these people who really need help and speaking up, and I'm going to call you a defender of liberty. So
Thank you, Paul.
thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Absolutely.